Imagine hearing a claim that a severely injured victim with a deep knife wound cutting through their neck could still clearly say the words, "Michelle did it." Sounds incredible, right?
Wait, really? That does sound unbelievable. How could someone speak clearly with such a serious injury?
Exactly. And that's the point. This isn't just a medical curiosity. It has real consequences for justice, medical treatment, and how we interpret evidence in cases like this.
So, by the end of this, we're going to understand why, based on anatomy and how speech works, it's basically impossible for someone with that kind of neck trauma to speak clearly?
Yes, that's right. Let's start with the basics. How speech actually works. It's a complex process involving three main systems working together.
Okay, I'm listening.
First, the respiratory system. Think of your lungs as the motor that pushes air out. Without airflow, there's no sound.
Like blowing air through a wind instrument?
Exactly. Then comes the larynx, or voice box. Inside it are the vocal folds, kind of like guitar strings, that vibrate as air passes through, creating a buzzing sound.
So the larynx is where the sound is generated, but it's just a buzzing noise at this point?
Right. It's not yet speech, just a buzzing tone. Finally, the articulatory system shapes that buzzing into recognizable sounds. This includes the tongue, lips, jaw, and other parts that change the shape of the vocal tract.
So the vocal tract is like a musical instrument, and the articulators change its shape to create different sounds?
Perfect analogy. Without all three systems working properly, the lungs pushing air, the vocal folds buzzing, and the articulators shaping sound, speech can't happen.
Got it. So what happened with the victim's injury?
The victim suffered a deep knife wound between two key structures in the neck: the hyoid bone, which supports the tongue, and the thyroid cartilage, which forms the Adam's apple.
And that wound cut through important muscles too?
Yes, specifically the infrahyoid muscles. These muscles anchor the hyoid bone and help position the tongue. Severing them means the tongue loses its anchor and can't move properly.
That sounds serious. What about the epiglottis? I remember that's a flap that covers the windpipe when we swallow.
Exactly. In this case, the epiglottis was cut loose and pushed into the throat, blocking normal airflow and messing up the resonance needed for speech.
And the carotid artery was severed too, right? That's a major blood vessel to the brain?
Yes. The left carotid artery, which supplies blood to the brain's left hemisphere, the part that controls speech, was cut. That causes almost instant brain shutdown, within about a second.
Wow, so with all that damage, how does it affect the ability to speak?
Well, to make consonant sounds like T or P, you need to build up air pressure in your mouth and then release it. But with a big hole in the neck, air just escapes through the wound instead of building up, so consonants can't be formed.
So no pressure means no consonants. What about vowels?
Vowels depend on the tongue's position inside the mouth. Since the infrahyoid muscles were severed, the hyoid bone lost its anchor and was pulled out of place. Because the tongue attaches to the hyoid bone, it was mispositioned too, making normal vowel sounds impossible.
And the epiglottis being out of place must make things worse?
Definitely. The epiglottis was pushed into the throat, splitting the resonating cavity into two smaller, irregular spaces. This disrupts the sound's resonance, kind of like trying to sing with a blocked mouthpiece. The result is unintelligible sounds.
And with the carotid artery severed, the brain's speech center would shut down almost immediately?
Exactly. So even if the vocal tract was intact, the brain wouldn't be able to coordinate speech.
Some people have suggested the victim's mother cradled her head to re-establish the vocal tract. Could that have helped?
Unfortunately, no. After muscles and soft tissues are cut, they retract and pull apart. Simply bending the head can't realign these layers or restore speech. It's like trying to fix a torn rubber band by just folding it.
That makes sense. What about hoarseness or whispering? Could the victim have whispered?
Good question. Hoarseness usually comes from nerve damage causing vocal fold paralysis, and whispering happens when vocal folds don't vibrate but create turbulent airflow. But the expert testified there was no nerve damage to the vocal folds here, so neither hoarseness nor whispering would result.
So the only way whispering or hoarseness could happen is if the carotid artery wasn't severed, which contradicts the findings.
Exactly. So the conclusion is clear. The victim could not have said Michelle did it or anything else intelligible after these injuries.
That's pretty definitive. Did the expert do any studies to back this up?
Yes, they used animal studies with monkeys, implanting electrodes to understand muscle and nerve function in vocalization. Plus, cadaver dissections confirmed the injury's severity and its impact on speech structures.
So if the victim couldn't speak, why might some people have thought they heard words?
Air escaping from the neck wound can create nasalized buzzing or rushing sounds. For example, a sound resembling ma could be accidentally produced because of air turbulence and lip closure. These accidental sounds might be misheard as words, but lack the structured consonants and vowels of real speech.
Like hearing shapes in clouds. Our brains trying to make sense of random noise?
Exactly, it's a kind of auditory illusion.
So to sum up, speech requires a continuous, intact vocal tract, precise muscle control, and brain function. Severe neck trauma disrupts all of these, making intelligible speech impossible.
Right, any sounds made would be accidental and unintelligible, not clear phrases. This understanding is crucial for interpreting evidence and ensuring justice.
It's fascinating how anatomy and physics come together to tell the real story behind what might seem like a simple statement.
Absolutely. It reminds us to look deeper and question what seems obvious.
Thanks for breaking that down. It really changes how you think about trauma and speech.
My pleasure. It's a complex topic, but understanding it matters.